let's take a look at our top selections for the
Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer, taking a look at race number 9 at Woodbine on Saturday. Let's throw up the field for the Kennedy Road rated stakes race. $175,000 is the purse, and the remarkable Pink Lloyd is going to be tough to beat. He always is. 26 for 31 lifetime. He's won 10 in a row. He just doesn't get old.
Yeah, he really doesn't. Listen, he's way the horse to beat once again, if only because it feels like he never loses, Dan. I do think this will be his toughest race so far in 2020. But that being said, I won't be surprised when he comes through it.
Let's take a look at the time form US pace projector. Pink Loydra is a nice outside attack post. He has tactical speed. I think he's going to be sitting just off the lead. Silent Poet, who's probably a little bit better on turf, but capable on synthetic. He is one-way speed. I don't know if Roaring 40s can keep up with that horse early.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think Silent Poet will be on the early lead in here, and then we'll just see if he can run one of his really good races. His good race is really good. We'll see if he can run one of those on synthetic.
Let's watch the replay of the number 1, Super Stonehenge, his most recent race. They got him back to synthetic in his second start off of a lengthy layoff, and he was able to lay up close to the pace in that spot, Mike. I thought he ran pretty well in here. He's going to have to do better as he steps up into the stakes ranks for the first time.
Yeah, stepping him way up against some much better horses here, but this horse is relatively unexposed, Dan. He's got a nice pedigree. It feels like he's getting better all the time. He looked good winning this race, and now he's third off the layoff. There are things to like about this horse at a price.
Another horse that returned off of a layoff is the 2, Ride a Comet. Boy, you want to talk about a layoff? Mark Casse had this horse off for over 2 years. He brought him back, and this horse showed no rust whatsoever. Career best 93 Beyer speed figure in the race we're going to show you, going 7 furlongs. Casse showing a lot of confidence turning this horse back to 3/4 of a mile, Mike, because before the layoff, this was a horse that was doing damage in middle distance races.
Yeah, and he's mostly a turf horse as a 3-year-old, but he looked like a synthetic horse in this race. They took him back early, just under a nice hold, let him find his stride. He buried this field. This was a really, really nice performance off the layoff. Now, he's going to have to cut back to 6 now against better horses, and I don't think that should be taken too lightly. Cutting back from 7 to 6 isn't going to be that easy for this horse, but this horse is good. I was a huge fan of his as a 3-year-old, Dan. This horse has some real talent.
I think that's the one concern, because from what you just saw, how can you knock it? Especially off of the layoff. I think turning back to 6 might be an issue because he does like to come from off the pace. It'll be interesting to see if Silent Poet takes a lot of heat early. You know this horse is going to be rolling in the stretch. Escaminden's been a solid horse for a long time. He's run into Pink Lloyd. He's run into Silent Poet. For most of the time, he's run into the wrong end of those horses.
Yeah, he's just not as good as those horses. So obviously he's going to need to catch some kind of a break to beat. He not only has to beat one of them, he's got to beat both of them now.
Silent Poet's had a huge year, mostly on turf. Let's watch the Grade 2 in the Arctic. He just got a great setup in this race. He put his good speed to advantage, and there's no closing going on. City Boy, the 8 horse, pushed him early, and they ran 1-2 all the way around the track. There just wasn't any closing going on, and that was kind of the situation 2 starts back, I thought, where he got away with a 23-2 opening quarter, going 6.5. He is capable on synthetic. He's probably better on dirt. I wonder if he can shake clear of the 6 Roaring 50s, if 40s. If he does, he's going to be tough to catch.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to just put him on the lead no matter how fast he has to go. I think you're right about each of his last 2 races, though, Dan. The paces of those races just weren't fast. And so he took advantage to some extent in those races, not that he didn't run well. I think they have to just make sure he's on the lead here, even if they have to go faster to get there, and just see if he can run his best race on this surface. Overall, his synthetic races aren't terrible. They haven't run him on it that much. In 2 of the 4 times they have, it's just been races that are too far for him. So I don't think it's fair to say that he can't handle the surface, but he's got to prove it.
Dixie's Gamble, the number 5, is a really interesting runner for Josie Carroll. This is a horse that showed some ability last year as a 4-year-old, and it just took Carroll a long time to get him back to the races, about 11 months. Last time out, he just was kind of flat going, a 2-turn, 7.5 furlong on the turf. He is better on synth. I think this horse is going to be running late. I think he has some price potential.
I do too. We'll see if he can finally get by Pink Lloyd this time, Dan. I don't care about the turf race last time. I don't really feel like he's a turf horse. Going back to last year, he couldn't beat Pink Lloyd, and the one time he got away from him, he won the overskate pretty easily.
Roaring 40s was beaten by Pink Lloyd 2 and 3 back. I tried to stretch him out in the Durham Cup, and while he has won around 2 turns, he's probably more effective in the 7/8 to a 1 mile range. He's cutting back in distance. That'll be sort of interesting to see if he can keep up with Silent Poet's speed. I think he's a little bit class compromised. I think he's a useful horse, maybe at 7/8.
Yeah, and it's going to be tough for him with his running style to have to deal with Silent Poet early in this race. So we'll see if he can do it. The last 2 times he ran against Pink Lloyd, it was really no contest. He's got to find more.
And what more can you say about Pink Lloyd other than he wins just about each and every time, as he did last time out in the Grade 3 Vigil, where he utilized his tactical speed to perfection. We're going to watch that race, and he's just in the second flight turning into the stretch. He eases to the outside, and this is what Pink Lloyd does. He inhales horses in the lane. He can take advantage of any kind of pace scenario, and he's hoping that, yes, the 6 goes after Silent Poet early. He's going to be sitting third. He's going to be getting the jump on the closers. He's obviously the horse to beat.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add to that. He's way the horse to beat in here. In a lot of ways, it's hard to root against him because he just wins so many races in a row. You don't want that streak to come to an end. I mean, I do think this will be his toughest race so far this year. But again, I'm not going to be surprised when he just wins.
You can't root against him, but you can certainly bet against him as we take a look at our top picks, because I agree with Mike. I think this is going to be his toughest test. Ride a Comet sure looked good off the layoff last time out. And if you give him a pace, the way he finished last time out, you got to think he's going to be firing again. I think Silent Poet's going to get to an easy lead this time around. I think he's going to once again put away roaring 40s. And we'll see if he's good enough to hold off Pink Lloyd and all the rest. We'll see if he's as good on synthetic.
Yeah, I think you and I probably have the 2 horses who are going to take the most money into the face of Pink Lloyd. They seem like the 2 toughest horses for him to have to run against. I just couldn't resist Ride a Comet. I really liked his return from the layoff last year, and I'm a big fan of this horse.
2745 for Mike, 4721 for me, but Pink Lloyd's the story in the Grade 2 Kennedy Road.